Right, welcome back to Aspiring Creator, the podcast I started like 2 years ago and then stopped maybe like 6 months later because I just ran out of time. So I have now decided to try and relaunch this podcast because I'm basically trying to outsource all the admin behind it so I don't have to do anything other than physically sit in a chair, talk for however long, again, this thing takes. And really, there was a friend of mine, content creator, I think it was, who reached out to me and said, like, hey, it would be really cool if you started your like Aspiring Creator podcast again because it was really useful and valuable. So kind of made me think, well, hey, maybe if I could just, what could I do to get it going again? And essentially just outsource the whole thing apart from obviously sitting down and talk about it. So for those who are new to this or it's been a while, let's just remind everyone how this works. So I have a like to-do list with all the things that's happened in the last week and previous few weeks because obviously we've been away for like a year. So I've noted down a few things. We're going to keep this pretty short, pretty condensed and just kind of cover up the topics one by one. Just no real order or structure to this thing. It's just really covering the behind the scenes of running a content creation business and, you know, hiring and content creation and strategy and brand deals and sponsorships and scheduling and the whole thing. So let's start off with, new podcast, number one. So yes, the reason why I've now managed to get this going is I got chatting with Bav, who works in Ali Abdul's team, or used to work with Ali Abdul, and she did something for me before where she looked after I used to do like a video content creation course, and I used to run kind of live sessions, and she was really helpful at putting it all together and structure and scheduling, and she was just like bang on for that kind of stuff. So we got chatting again, and I should probably mute my phone as part of that. Let's just do that so that doesn't happen again. I reached out and she said, cool, yeah, would love to help. And so the plan is I sit down, I talk, I hit record, talk for the 20, 30 minutes, whatever, and then I dump the file into Riverside FM, which is the kind of where we start the whole podcast platform. And then she will just pick this up and magically make it appear on the various podcast platforms. It's going to be on YouTube as well, so there's a separate Aspiring Creator podcast YouTube channel, which this will sit on, so you can go find it on YouTube, on Spotify. The video will be there as well. Plus, also, it's sat there on the Apple Podcasts, the Spotify podcast, just whatever podcast platform that you consume your podcasts on. Which then leads me on to other things I've changed recently with like hiring. So we now have a new website SEO kind of person. So it was around this time last year, I think it was, where my website, which I basically do no work for whatsoever, how it works basically is I have a VA, and after we make every single video here, I write a full on, like, I script my videos word for word, and so I take that script, hand it to my VA. She'll then like reword it slightly, you know, changing in this video we do this to like in this article we're going to show you this. So just making it more readable rather than like someone that's watching something. And she literally takes that, slaps in the thumbnail image, cuts a few images out of the video just to drop them throughout the blog or the podcast, the article, and just turns it into an article, and it just gets posted on the website. There's no real rhyme or reason to when or how or anything along those lines. It's just something she's taken care of. And she's been doing this consistently for me for for like 4 or 5 years by now, I think. And so what happened last year around about this time is the website started like taking off. Again, considering me personally put zero amounts of work into this, and the cost has been £150, £200 a month for like her hours to convert the scripts into blog posts on the website. And we've been getting, I think it was like 10 to 20,000 visits a month on the website. We added ads onto the website. So there's a company called, or a service called Mediavine, which then embeds like the Google Ads kind of thing. It's like the, Google YouTube ads version, but for websites. So they just embed ads on the website. And that's been paying out like $100, sometimes $200 a month in terms of ads. So it's kind of been like covering itself throughout that. We also then add our affiliate links throughout the articles. Again, that's something else the VA does. And just increases the opportunity for revenue. So if someone clicks on one of the links in the article, they go and buy something, we earn some income from that click and the purchase. So it just, again, it pretty much covers itself. But where the traffic suddenly started increasing around this time throughout Christmas, essentially, is the peak of it. I just thought that this year, if we were to try and get ahead of that and hire someone. We're basically paying someone about like £1,500 a month just to sit on top of the website, do some SEO optimization, write some targeted blog posts, trying to like aim for the low-hanging fruit essentially. So the stuff that is maybe easy to rank for, but there's not much competition. So she's going to be working on that and has been working for about a month so far. That was one of the hires. So that's like 2 new hires. And then the third new hire was a new newsletter. So we are relaunching our newsletter. And again, the whole point of this is I have to do like minimal to no work. So I have like I jump on a call 1 hour every single week just to basically chat and with my thoughts on what should be in this week's edition of the newsletter. So there's going to be 2 newsletters a week. So is that bi-weekly? Weekly? I'm not too sure, but yeah, twice a week there's going to be a newsletter. And each newsletter has like a different purpose. So, the one that comes out on I think it's a Thursday, and then on a Saturday, they have like different purposes for content in there. So they're going to vary each, obviously, as the weeks and months roll on. But we have our call. I give her my thoughts. She will sometimes just send over prompts for me, and I can just reply with a voice note on, the tech that I'm using this week, or the websites I found, or the videos I've come across, or whatever it might be, or the particular topic we're going to talk about. And again, that was like one thought for me after speaking with some other content creation friends is a newsletter can be like another valuable arm to your business or leg to the business in terms of like a revenue stream. If you can get your newsletter to a certain number of subscribers or followers or whatever you want to call it, then you can also then monetize the newsletter. So that is something that could then, we could sell an ad slot to a brand. If a brand comes to us for a video, we could also say, hey, do you want to have sponsor a newsletter? So there's an extra charge for that. Would you like a blog post? Because now we've got a website that's now hopefully delivering more views per month. So now we have something to sell them on that as well. So it's just, we're looking for ways to bring in multiple income streams into the business while still like being based around content creation. And there are others in there as well. There's like new products, which I've been thinking about for ages, but still cannot figure out a product that I would want to or need to sell that people would want to buy. So that's another one out there as well. And so, yeah, that's where we are. Something else we've been looking at, I talked about a lot before, was balancing the views on the channel versus like trying to work with brands. And I always said there was like 2 approaches with tech YouTube, and there's probably way more than that, but I boiled it down to 2. One approach was you work with like every brand under the sun. So, any brand launches a new product, they'll send it to you. You make a video about that new product. You make a full-on video review about it. And you look really good in the brand's eyes because they made a video for you for free, and then you found another sponsor to keep that video, keep the channel going and financially secure and everything. And so that way, you get to work with a lot of brands. You probably go on a lot of press trips because you get in the good books of a lot of brands. And but the problem with that approach is nobody cares about whatever the latest thing is that you've been told to talk about necessarily. So generally speaking, views would be potentially lower. Whereas the other approach that I was talking about was like, I don't know, views maximizer, whatever you call it, where you're just looking for videos that people actually care about, will want to watch, and then just have the potential to perform. And that's where we used to be. So we used to always look out for videos that would have the potential to perform well, bring in higher views, higher subscribers, because that will grow the channel quicker, mean that our baseline views are higher for all our videos, which means when we do speak to brands, then we have like this baseline number of like a good number of views for our videos. And so we are now kind of between the 2 now. So we're still looking at, wanting to hit the views, but we'll also just do dedicated reviews with some products. Like we did a TV comparison recently because I just want to appear on the radar for other TV brands if they want to reach out and sponsor some content on the channel. Not that like sponsorship is like the be all and end all, but a lot of channels, ourselves included, are funded by sponsorships and brand deals. So we're trying to, again, like I said, find this balance of doing the stuff that people are interested in, but make it financially viable and make some money, make some profit. And, that's kind of makes the world go around. So we did TVs, we did a Switch 2 review recently. We're doing the odd like laptop here and there. Monitors are like the bread and butter of our channel. So we'll always carry on doing monitor videos because it's that combination of I enjoy doing them, but also they perform well. There seems to be interest. We earn affiliates off the back of it. So it's just like a win-win-win-win all the way around, really. So yes, we are playing around with the whole like balancing product. We still say a no to a lot. We've been sent a lot of product still, and I'm kind of at the stage of let's make a short on it rather than a full like dedicated channel video. I just struggle finding people to sponsor those kind of videos. Like right now, let's talk about that. That's on my list as well. Apple season, Pixel season, Tech-tober, whatever you want to call it. So it is currently the 13th of August, recording this. And we are literally a week away from the launch of the Pixel series. And so we have like a month worth of Pixel videos planned out. So we've got like Pixel accessories, we've got a Pixel review, we've got like a first things to do with your Pixel video. So we've planned all that out. But then immediately after that, there is the iPhone launch. So we'll go on to the iPhone schedule of like iPhone accessories, iPhone buying guide, iPhone first things to do, like all those kind of things, iPhone review. And it just like the whole cycle kind of repeats itself. And so there just isn't much room for anybody that has a product outside of that. We've tried. We've got a few videos in our schedule where, if it's a video about a Pixel or if it's a video about an iPhone, then that's what brands want, because brands want to get their name and their product in front of people that are buying the Pixel, and particularly the iPhone. The iPhone is probably the biggest one by far. And so when you say like, oh, hey, I have this Android phone that is like a Chinese brand Android phone, or maybe a OnePlus or an Oppo or an Honor or a Huawei, they don't really care or want to sponsor that content, because there are basically a lot more brands that have accessories for iPhones or Pixels, or like flagship American brands essentially, or at least like Western brands. So there is that. It's going to be very, very busy. It's probably been the busiest we've been for a very long time, but I'm still trying to stick to our schedule of like one video a week, because it's just so difficult to just keep pumping multiple videos out every week. We're also trying to deal with issues with our editing kind of schedule. We want to make sure that we're not stressing our editor out. But it's this balance again. The whole thing is balance, because whilst we could make more videos, if we make more videos, then I need to spend double the time scripting and shooting, which I've only just about got enough time for if I then was to sack off everything that wasn't making videos. We'd probably need to hire another editor, because our current editor can't do any more than one video a week. It can do maybe like one video and maybe like a couple of shorts, but beyond that it's really pushing it. So we'd have to hire another editor, and then there's all the challenges of hiring another editor and getting him up to our standard and that whole thing. And so it is a balance of just trying to stick to the videos that people want and brands want, and that I can deliver and are achievable. It's the summer holidays here right now as well, so it's also like I don't want to spend all of my time sat here creating when I should be probably at home with the kids and family and wife and things. We also got a dog like 2 days ago or 3 days ago, which was not a clever idea for the middle of the summer holidays, when you can't leave the house because they're not jabbed and they can't like go out for walks for like 4 weeks, which would basically be the kids are back at school again. Anyway, I digress. Tools and stuff. So Monday, bit of an update. We are using Monday. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that in previous videos, for our like whole project management system. We've now upgraded to like the enterprise tier of Monday, because it unlocks a few extra features. But I've started bringing everything centrally into Monday. So we used to have our like finance tracking stuff separately in a spreadsheet, and we do still have some of it in there. But I've been bringing in like the forecasting into Monday, because the whole point, like the process before was we have a load of videos which are scheduled in Monday. Those videos have sponsors, which are obviously like put in Monday, the monetary values put into them in Monday, and then we were then adding those values into the Google Sheets spreadsheet, so we could then keep a track of like how much money have we made that month, but also how much money are we going to receive in a certain month, depending on how many days it takes that brand to pay, or the terms of the contracts we've signed. And so that was put in a separate document. Now that is in the same place. So we put the data in one place. We've got just a view that just shows us the projections and the forecasting based on actual data. So that is something that's recently happened, is being really good, and I can just kind of hop into Monday, click on the bar graph view, and I can see exactly what's going on in terms of the money. And it's been pretty good, I would say, at the moment. Again, this might be something to do, maybe we are doing more with the kind of mixing the videos up rather than just sticking to these headline video ideas. I've seen lots of people posting that this is actually like everything's going on a downer this year. Brands have got less money to spend. We found a bit of both. Some brands that spent more last year don't have those same budgets this year, but then there are potentially maybe just more brands out there, and maybe it's just a case that the channel's bigger, and so therefore we have more people interested in sponsoring content because the channel's bigger. We've also been looking at doing things like the like accessories videos, you can include more brands in there and features in there for Amazon deal days and Prime days and things. We're looking into those as well to see if we can do something with those to bundle together like sponsorships essentially. What else have we got to talk about? In terms of like going the balance of views and what videos are working, what videos aren't, and if they're performing or not. There's the whole like a load of people say like focus on the click-through rate and focus on retention and those kind of things. I'm still really lost with a lot of this data. I don't find that a video with like a really high click-through rate necessarily performs well. Equally, I've actually seen some of our better performing videos have a really poor click-through rate. So I don't really like stick much thought or effort into any of that. Even retention to a certain point. I've seen some of the highest performing videos have the worst retention because of course it's got high views and therefore more chance for people to like click away from it, but they're still performing well. And this is the same thought I've seen being posted elsewhere about the ABC thumbnail test from YouTube, in that it's actually to a certain point to the like degradation of the video, because if you choose one thumbnail and title combination and it runs with that, then YouTube knows what to do with it. But now you're giving it 3 times the amount of data and three thumbnails, and now it's like A/B testing. So actually, a viewer that would have seen your title and thumbnail and clicked on it didn't click on it because it saw a different variation of that title and thumbnail that wasn't performing as well. When actually a lot of the time you kind of do one thumbnail where you're like, that's a great thumbnail, let's also upload the other 2 just in case, just to find out what happens when you already know that that's like the better thumbnail. And so I saw a really interesting thread on probably Threads or Twitter, maybe like 6 months, a year ago or so, about just sticking with the one thumbnail, one title, and run with that and just let YouTube do its thing at this point. And I find it's very interesting. Certainly, we've got a little creator group that we chat about. There's definitely a thing on YouTube where YouTube knows your content and knows what to do with your content. Like Patrick Rambles posted a like Amazon Prime Day deals video. He did it last year. He did it this year, and it's done like 300,000 views in like 2 or 3 days through obviously like the Amazon Prime window. And it did it again this year, and it's just like YouTube knows that that's like a video that he makes, and so it just knows instantly who to push that video out to. Similarly, I guess with ours and like monitor videos, we've done a few monitor review videos recently where we were kind of questioning whether they would perform, and they've still performed very, very well, very strongly. I don't think we are yet to, he says, post a poorly performing monitor video, I think, if that's right. But yeah, just YouTube seems to learn and know that like, hey, you're a channel, you do this, I know who to put your videos out to. But when you do something, again, outside of that space, it doesn't really know where to push the video or who your viewers are. So it just takes a very, very long time, if anything, to get any views and bring in an audience to that video. Even though I've seen like Rene Ritchie or something saying that every video is individual and YouTube has to kind of figure out what happens for every single video. And maybe there's a certain amount of truth to that, but it definitely does know that, hey, if we make, it's the same thing. If we make a lifelong iPhone user switches, it knows instantly, and that's going to perform really well. And you can tell because it has you see the impressions go out, whereas some of the other videos, it just doesn't know for us. So that's an interesting category of like, how do you then teach YouTube that you now make that category of videos? And that's something we're still like exploring, particularly as we're now branching out to like other products in there as well. What else have we got in there? Yes. And so on that kind of tangent, learning from the number 1 videos. So, when you get the number of like 1 out of 10 videos. And so when we do a number 1, we're like, great, that was a good performing video. And then we just generally move on to the next video with a good feeling in the back of my mind of like, cool, yeah, we did a great video. But we're not actually doing anything with like that data when we should be, I guess, like doubling down and going, cool, that did a 1 out of 10. Let's do another variant of it, or let's do a follow-up video, or just something on that same topic. And so we did a video literally a few days ago on the Apple Intelligence versus Google Gemini, and that's been a 1, maybe a 2 out of 10 or so. But I've seen consistent performance with those kind of AI intelligence voice assistants thing on our channel. And so really what we should be doing, I've made a list to look at it at some point, is going through our schedule and going, okay, what can we remove to put one of these in? Because we need to follow this video up with another like voice assistant or comparison or AI thing. And so just being a bit more aware of like those 1 of 10s. and then doing something with that data to hopefully then have another follow-up 1 of 10. And I guess that's like the better way to grow your channel, because you're just following, as long as, you know, of course, you're happy making those videos, the follow-up videos, but like you're following what the viewers and what the audience want to see, because you're, you know, that's the data. The data is saying loads of people wanted to watch your AI video, so let's go watch another AI video. Oh, that was one I didn't write on my list. Let's talk about that, because I actually shot a whole video about this, and then it never got published because it was a long form video. So AI content and YouTube is a very interesting topic to discuss. There is like an ever increasing number of channels on YouTube now that make their living by completely using AI. There must be like some humans in the process at some point. But you know, me and my kind of little group of tech YouTube friends have noticed loads of other channels stealing our content, like our videos, like you know, our B-roll when we're shooting product shots and those kind of things. And they then glue all those clips together into their own video. They'll use an AI voiceover to a certain point. I found there was a channel that used Mike O'Brien's voice. Like, Mike O'Brien is another tech YouTuber. He's got like I think it's like 1 million subscribers, or maybe a few 100,000. He's a big YouTuber channel. And they stole his voice. They trained an AI model on his voice, and it was his voice doing the voiceover, even though it wasn't him. So yeah, you've got his voice, you've got all of our video footage being stolen, and YouTube didn't flag it at all. Like, I had one channel, or at least one video, where the guy had taken the first, like, I think it was like the 30 seconds or like minute or two of my video, like the first full-on first bit of my video, and used it as the first bit within their video. And yet YouTube still hadn't flagged me at any point that, oh, hey, someone else has re-uploaded your content. And so I don't know if there's just like an issue with YouTube's like content ID system. I get flagged for shorts when shorts are re-uploaded, but I don't think I've ever seen any of my long form videos be flagged for anything. So it'd be interesting to see if anyone else has seen that or heard of that before. But this is the whole thing, so that these channels are getting a ton of views because they're like these AI channels. They're literally pumping out sometimes 1, 2, 3 videos a day, and all they're doing is like regurgitating what everyone else has said into their own video, but they're earning AdSense off the back of it. Some of the clever ones are actually doing sponsorships within that, and it's when we start seeing these AI channels taking sponsorships away from us that are actually creating the videos that these guys are then stealing to put in their videos, if you see what I mean. So it's just it's super frustrating. YouTube don't seem to care much about it. They did put an update out recently that said that people got the wrong end of the stick, and again, Rene Ritchie clarified it and said that no, nothing's actually changing. We're just like enforcing some policies, and the policy was apparently that, you know, you're not going to get paid for AI content. I think it was AI generated repetitive content is the words, and the clarification around this was that apparently there are some channels that, again, fully AI generated, so it's just like AI generated video with AI generated scripts on it, and they're telling a story, and then they'll slightly change the story and slightly change the video and then re-upload it again. So that was like the repetitive content. It had nothing to do with actually, you know, to the certain point, if they're using AI voices for the entire video and they're using other people's videos to create their video, then surely that should be like detectable and blockable by YouTube. I don't know. I'm losing faith with YouTube the longer I'm doing YouTube, and it's fine because it's one of these things where, well, you know, why complain about it if you just don't do anything about it? We can't do anything about it. We're stuck on the YouTube platform. It is what it is. But my faith with YouTube on what did they say? I think originally they were going to be like, yeah, you know, we're going to take down these channels. We're going to take down anything like AI, and we're going to block stuff. And like, I still have like sexy bots commenting on my videos within the first few seconds of every single video. And it's been happening for years. And like, YouTube isn't clever enough to fix that, let alone this AI stuff that's even indefinitely more like complicated to pick up and detect and block. So I really don't think that even if they were to enforce that sort of policy, that they'd actually be able to do it and, you know, block that kind of content. So it's super frustrating. The only thing we've been able to do so far is like manually issue takedown requests on those channels. And it's funny a few times that we've issued takedown requests. So when you issue one, you can basically say, I want to give them like, you know, it's cool, and I slap on the back of the wrist, like, cool, don't do it again, but like take the video down. Or you can say, no, take the video down. I'm going to issue a warning on your channel because you've stolen my content. And loads of these people know what they're doing. Like, they've got like tens of thousands of subscribers, at least, and they're growing very, very quickly. They know exactly what they're doing, and they will even credit the creators in their description sometimes. But they like remove the link from the credit. You know, when you get like a clickable like name in the channel description, they remove the link. So because if they do that, then I would actually get a notification that someone's tried to link to my channel from YouTube, and that would then expose them. So they remove all those, so it looks like they've tagged people, but they haven't. And so it's one of these frustrating things. I don't think it's going anywhere fast. There's nothing much we can really do about it apart from manually find these. And there was a phase where I'd kind of trade my YouTube account to look at those videos, because that's the kind of, you know, obviously I've found the video, watched the video, then I'd binge watch a lot more of their videos. So it was then training my YouTube algorithm to find more of those videos. So there was like a couple, 2 weeks or so where I was just being served loads of these AI regurgitated videos. And so we found a fair amount of them very, very quickly. But there are like probably hundreds, thousands, maybe even millions of channels out there doing exactly that nobody is aware of and we're not aware of. So frustrating. But yes, nothing can be done. So what else do we have on my list? AI for YouTube analytics. Now, I'm going to cover this more next week because we have just started touching on this now. But what I started doing, so following on from the whole like Gemini versus Apple Intelligence video, I started playing around with OpenAI again. And Gemini, so it started off with me playing around with Gemini. And I uploaded a video of my like schedule and said, hey, can you just look at these video ideas and just like tell me what you think about them. Are they good ideas? Do you think they're going to perform well on the channel? I uploaded all of my like last 2-3 years worth of data to Gemini from the channel, so it had the performance stats to know like what works well and what doesn't, and what gets views and what gets long watch times and what gets good click-through rates. And so it had all that data. I gave it a screenshot, and then it gave me a list of videos and said, oh yes, I think you should like not do this video, or this might be a better idea. But the data was like nothing to do with my videos. Like it would call out a particular video. I don't know, maybe it was like, for example, it would be like the my thoughts on the Samsung Fold 6. And there was like no videos in the schedule for the Fold 6. There was no videos for the Fold 7, let alone the 6. And so it was almost like just creating videos out of nowhere. And it does this, you know, whole hallucinating thing. And you call it out and you say, no, where are you getting the data from? Because that's not the screenshot. And it says, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I'll do it again. And it tries again, it gets it wrong again. And it gets to the point where you just can't rely on it. And so I gave up on it. And I thought, hey, I'll try ChatGPT. Tried ChatGPT, uploaded the data. And it was like bang on the first time I tried it, which when I last tried ChatGPT, like a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago, it was doing those same things. A year ago, it was horrendous and just buggy and just didn't work. So I'm very impressed to see what ChatGPT did. Very impressed to see what ChatGPT did, and it was able to pull data out from my screenshots, compare it with channel stats, and it gave me suggestions on, you know, hey, this video might do this, might not do so well. So here's some other video ideas or title ideas. Maybe this isn't the title. This is a great video, but not the right title. So here's some title ideas. So that's where we got to with like that whole system. And then Matt, bless him, works with me now. Found a podcast from Austin Evans, or it was Austin Evans featured on a podcast, who was talking about how he's using Claude to like not run his YouTube channel, but like do similar things, but with live data into the back of YouTube. And so we've just started exploring that now, literally in the last couple of days or so. And it is very, very cool. I won't go into it too much. I'm going to talk about that again more next time because I'll know what I'm talking about a bit more. But it does seem to be able to do an awful lot of stuff. So I am going to leave it there for now. So thank you very much for listening to the first episode of Aspiring Creator. Again, on all platforms, please subscribe, maybe leave a review. Hey, let's do that. If you have just listened to this, go leave a review on the podcast platform you're listening or watching it on, because we probably don't have any reviews. So thank you very much if you do that, and I will see you in the next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.